Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. You join me on a Saturday and we're doing a very chill, very non-committal Saturday. We're actually just gonna like take the day. We're supposed to be meeting a friend for the day in Greenwich, but she just got stuck in Manchester at work. So we had plans and the plans have just got like completely wiped out. So we're just gonna take the day. Tomorrow we're gonna go to Ealing, which is where I lived in London before I met Alex, and we're gonna go walk around because I lived there when the Lizzie line was supposed to open. So what, like 2018 I think that's when it was due to originally open. So I lived there 2018 to 2020, if maybe 2017 to 2020, so like a while ago, and I haven't been back since. So I kind of want to just go like see what it's like. We're gonna go and do some of the like really long walks that I used to do when I lived there. So yeah, we're gonna go over to Ealing before tomorrow. We're gonna do that tomorrow. It's on our little like checklist of things we want to go and do before we leave London, and that will be the plan for tomorrow. But the plan for today, because our friend had to cancel, is we're gonna just take the day to completely decompress. And I'm just saying that there's nothing like in particular, like productive wise, that we need to do in this house. Like the flat's relatively clean, there's no washing to do, we don't need to go food shopping, like we've kind of got everything sorted. Honestly, waking up like with an extra like half an hour to 45 minutes every single morning just means I basically do my reset through the week. So yeah, there's no particular like mass reset we need to do. We're just gonna take the day to chill the F out. And I want to bring you along for the day. So it is 11 o'clock, which is everything you need to know. We've been sat in bed. Alex has been watching, I think that is a freeze frame of South Park. I've been watching a bit of YouTube and also reading a chunk of my book. I'm currently reading Stephanie Garber Final or Finale, which is the last book in the Caraval series. And I have to say, I think this is my absolute favourite of the three. The first two books I loved, but they kind of never went above a 4-star because there were parts of the book that were quite boring. So the book as a whole, the story as a whole, loved. Characters, set, plot, beautiful. But there were always parts of the book where I was like, this is actually quite dull. Can you like hurry up? This book does not have a single second of that. It's so good. I'm currently on page 292. I think I read about 150 pages this morning. So yeah, it's been a very chill morning. I have also just put some nail oil on my nails. So it's the Barry M Argan Nail Shot Nail and Cuticle Oil, which I am quite a way through. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I do think I'm going to go into the other room now and make my breakfast smoothie. And I say breakfast because it's now 11 o'clock, which if you haven't seen before is just banana, frozen berries, honey, milk and ice. And it is like so good. I know it's probably not that healthy for me, and I know it's probably quite a lot of sugar, but I don't really care. I might put a hair oil in, so my hair does need washing. So I might put a hair oil in and sit with a hair oil in my hair and go read a book. Okay, it's a bit later. I've tied my hair up. Do you ever reach the point where you're like, your hair is just too much? Is that just me? And like having your hair around your face, it just feels like it's like invading in your space, and you just like, I haven't spoken to you since I finished this book and I loved it so much. I think this is the perfect ending to the first couple of books, and it really does set Jax up, I think, really well for the next trilogy. So now I kind of like really desperately want to read that book. I feel like the first one especially, there are periods of it where you're a little bit bored because like not enough's happening, but the further you get through the series, not only obviously are you more invested in the characters, but the story just gets so good. And this is basically like wrapping up all those characters that you got introduced to throughout the first 2 books, and like bringing their stories relatively to a completion apart from Jax, and I just loved it. And the fact that I picked up the first of these books on like what was actually just like a whim at a charity shop, and now I found probably one of my favourite series of the year. I would say this is definitely a 5-star, like 100%. The first 2 books were like 4. I think the first book was like a 4-star, the second book was like a 4.25. This is 5. I would say the series is a 5-star because I just love it so much. I just think there were elements of the books that were getting a bit dull, but this book, not at all. And now I've moved on to the next book in my July TBR, which I'm making really good progress with. So I've currently read 4 out of the 8 books. And this is book number 5, and it's the 13th of July, so I'm making good progress. This is An Anatomy of a Scandal by Sarah Vaughan, who wrote for The Guardian for like 12 years as a political correspondent, and this is about the wife of is he an MP or is he's something to do with politicians. I think he might be like a junior MP or something, but he's like an aide of the PM, and he has an affair, and then the affair breaks in the news, and something's going to happen afterwards, because at the very beginning there's like a flash, the book starts on the 2nd of December and then it flashes back to October, and the 2nd of December is what do you call them, the people in charge of courts? The book starts from the viewpoint of a barrister who just gets given a case, which I believe the case is linked to the husband and wife that you then flash back to, otherwise why was that scene there? So something is going to like absolutely go off the rails, but at the moment it seems to be relatively contained. But yeah, I'm currently on page 47. It's a very, very, very different book to Stephanie Garber, but I am still enjoying it so far. So this is the book I'm currently reading, and then I only have 3 books left on my July TBR, so I'm doing very, very well. So this book I'm feeling relatively excited for, and then I've got 2 more books on the TBR that I'm like buzzing for because they're second books in a series, and then I've got the book that I'm not 100% sold on, but I'm quite excited to read it, partly so it's done. That's my book update. I feel like I talked about books for way too long, but effectively that's all I've done today. It is now 2:45. We've had some lunch. I've cut up some vegetables and put them in the oven to roast, and then I'm going to blend them, and that's going to be the filling for some ravioli that I'm going to make later today. So I've done a little bit of prep, but like that's like the only constructive thing I've done all day. I'm going to put a little bit of something on my face just to make myself look a little bit less like I haven't slept. I've got a reel on this camera that I want to get onto the computer, edit, and then get out, because I'm going to post again on Instagram. Indeed. So I want to edit that and get that out, and then I think we're going to head to Waterstones because I need to pick up a book for book club. So I'm going to go to Waterstones, have a little peruse. I should only buy 1 book, but watch me buy multiple. But have a little peruse, and then I don't know. It's obviously a very chill, calm, relaxed day, so no real plans. I wouldn't say going to Waterstones and buying a book is necessarily being productive. Reel edited, makeup done. I've also sorted out I've taken the squash and the peppers out of the oven, so they're now cooling down, and I will then blend them together later. I put on a bit more makeup than I intended to. But it just kind of happened. I'm actually like full on falling in love with this. This is the Say Star Glow Glowy Super Gel, which I think I got this in an advent calendar. And initially I tried to use it as a highlighter and absolutely despised it because it kept taking off the foundation that was underneath. But now what I do is I mix it in with my foundation, and my skin looks so glowy and so healthy, and I'm just like obsessed. A day like today where it's a little bit cold, hence why I'm wearing a jumper in the middle of July. But yeah, I think I've fallen in love with this. I like to mix it in with foundation. The foundation I mixed it in with today is the Dior Backstage, just the Backstage foundation. This is in the shade 0N, which I think is the lightest shade they do, which I'm not that pale. So yeah, I've mixed it in with this. I don't like to mix it with my NARS Sheer Glow because then it's just like too much glow. Same to a degree with the Charlotte Tilbury, although this is actually in quite a dark shade, so I can only wear this when I'm really tanned. I also do like it with the NARS Natural Radiant Long Wear Foundation, so these two are really nice. But to be honest, my go-to combo at the moment is these two. I am working my way through this foundation actually quite fast, which is slightly terrifying. And then pretty much everything else on my face is Project 10 Pound. I'm just going to spray some setting spray. I'm just going to use my e.l.f. Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. So now I look a little bit more presentable, a little bit more like I have my shit together. We are gonna go and head out into town. I'm thinking I might get a little ice cream. Haven't told Alex this yet, but there's a couple of ice cream places in Greenwich Town Centre which are really nice. There's like a really big one where they've got like hundreds of flavours, which I think is the like famous one. And then there's a cafe that sometimes has the ice cream bit open, sometimes doesn't. When it does have the ice cream bit open, it only has about 10 flavours, but I think the flavours there are better. Like it's richer and it's sweeter, while the other one has like more choice, but the flavours aren't quite as strong. But I think I might go into town, go to Waterstones, hopefully pick up the book that I'm looking for, and then maybe even go to the secondhand bookshop. Not like any more books, but maybe we'll go there and then pick up some ice cream and head home, do a bit of a walk, get some steps in, as I've currently walked 1,150 steps, which is not that many, albeit I've walked so many steps this week that I am already doing pretty well. So for the week to date, I'm already averaging 12,000 steps because I walked so much in the earlier part of the week. I mean, I walked 17,500 steps on Thursday, so I'm doing all right. But yeah, I'm gonna go head into town and let's see what I pick up. Made it back from our little trip out. The dinner has actually cooled quite well, so I should now be able to blend that, but picked up a few bits. Got some lemonade, pasta flour for tonight. Picked up some more frozen fruit because I think I'll run out of it before the week is up. And bought some more bananas because I've actually run out. Is it just me or bananas like suspiciously cheap? Not that I was allowed to buy any books, not that I should be buying any books, and not that I'm encouraging myself to buy any more books, but I bought another book. I bought Neil Gaiman's Stardust, which, any of you remember that film that came out in like, what, 2008? But yeah, I just thought it was a nice, easy little book, picked out from the charity shop. Did go into Waterstones to try and find the 7-year slip, but they didn't have it. And I picked up a couple of other books, but I don't need them, and I don't really, not that I need this, but like, I can pick those up at any other time, and I had to stop because I'm moving soon. So, just pick this one up. And I'll pop it with the other books. Hi! It is now the next day. I actually didn't film anything really at all yesterday evening. We had dinner, so I made ravioli with the squash that was in the fridge. And then we had that, watched some TV. I ended up watching Love Island. I'm like still really far behind, but I ended up watching Love Island, and then we went to bed. Like, it was actually a very uneventful evening. But it is now Sunday. I'm up, I'm dressed. I've cut my fringe back in. I don't know if you can tell. Nice little short little fringe. We've woken up and we're going to head out to Ealing, which is where I used to live before Alex and I moved in together. And we're going to go on a nice little day out, go and enjoy all the things that I used to enjoy when I lived out that way. Which, to be honest, because my rent was a very large proportion of my wages, I actually didn't do a huge amount, but I had some really lovely walks that I used to like do literally every day, and I am just kind of quite excited to go and relive them. There's a pub that I did used to go to quite a lot, and then the Italian restaurant that I used to eat at has actually closed. There used to be an Italian restaurant near West Ealing train station, but it closed while I still lived there. It was a COVID casualty, quite sad, but I loved that restaurant so much, but it has gone. I don't know if something else has taken its place yet. We can obviously go and find out. I absolutely loved living there. I think it was because I used to live in basically I've gone Notting Hill, Ealing, Croydon, Greenwich, which I know is like the most random journey around the city physically possible. When I lived in Notting Hill, I was on minimum wage and I couldn't really enjoy living there. So I don't think I've got like an emotional attachment to that area at all. I then moved to Ealing, which is where I felt like my life in London really started. I changed jobs. It's where I met Alex. I didn't meet him in Ealing, but I lived in Ealing when we met. I had this like beautiful studio apartment. I think I filmed a couple of vlogs in that time of my life. So if there are any of them, I might link. Even if it's just like the flat tour, if I filmed one down below. I had this like studio apartment. It was really cute. I lived in West Ealing, which is like proper suburban London. Absolutely loved it. Had the best time, honestly, adored it so much, but I had to move out because Alex and I could not live in that place because it was a tiny. So we then moved to Croydon, but we don't talk about that, and now I live in Ealing and I love it. I think this is my favourite place I've lived, but I have such an emotional attachment to that part of the world, and I kind of just want to go back because I haven't been there since I moved out, because I've had no reason to. And it is a gloriously sunny day. It is the Euro final tonight, so I'm hoping we can avoid too much of that chaos. We're gonna go for a roast dinner in the pub that I used to get a roast dinner at, usually when one of my parents came to visit. And then, yeah, just walk around. There's some beautiful, beautiful parks in Ealing, like so beautiful, which is where I used to spend most of my time. I'd take a book, nothing changes. I'd take a book, take a picnic blanket, take some snacks, and I'd just go sit out in the park, and that's usually what I used to do with my spare time when I lived down there. So I'm really excited. There's so much of that area that was being built up and developed when I lived there, so yeah. So that's where I'm gonna head off to today. But oh my god, my fringe is like flicking beautifully. Sorry, that's really distracting me. We're gonna head off. I'm wearing a quite summery outfit. I don't know if the best way to show you will be up here. I'm wearing quite a summery outfit. I'm not sure it's 100% warm enough, but I've got my new denim shorts on, which I think are my like new favourite denim shorts. They're from Uniqlo. They fit so well. So they're like a good length, because they're like long enough that they reduce chub rub, but they're like not so long that they look a bit awkward. Then I've got my mango vest on, which I love, and then this little cardigan which I got from ASOS. I cannot remember the brand. I think it's Miss Selfridge, I want to say, and I'm correct. This Miss Selfridge little cardigan which I got from ASOS. So I've got my little bag. It's just basically got my book, my lipstick top up, which is this. This is the NYX Shine Loud lipstick in Another Level. I love these lipsticks so much. I wore a nude one of these for my wedding day. They last so well. So yeah, I've got that. I've then got a little mirror so I can top it up. I've got my book and I've got my keys. And I think I might bring a little bag for life. And then I think that will be my entire outfit. I might leave this camera at home because I think it needs charging, and just film bits from today on my phone. So yeah, I'm gonna head off and I hope you guys enjoy. I don't think our garden's big enough to do this. Well, my book buying ban is going very well. So I've just made it back
from Ealing, had a really lovely day. Literally just walked around some of the local parks I used to walk around. We went for a roast dinner at the Old Hat, which is a pub that I used to go to a fair amount. I lived there. And then we went into Ealing Broadway, like shopping area, and honestly went to 3 different bookshops. The idea was to find the book that we're reading in the book club at work, which is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I've now been in 4 bookshops and I can't find it, so I think I might have to order it for Amazon. But I did instead buy other books, which I didn't need, but bought anyway. So some came from the charity shop and some came from Waterstones, but I have a Waterstones bag storing them. And then some of these books are actually Alex's, so first ones I bought were from a charity shop. This is, I can't remember the name of the charity shop, but the one that specialises just in books. And I bought 2 very different books, but 2 books that actually interested me quite a lot. So one is The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonasson, which I do believe was turned into a film. At least that's what Alex said when I picked up the book. It just sounds really wholesome. It's about a man who on his 100th birthday, instead of celebrating his birthday like he should do, he climbs out of his window and goes on like an adventure. And then I picked up a book that was in the YA section, but it sounded really cool. So it's called Heartless by Marissa Mayer, and it's about the Queen of Hearts from Alice Adventures Underground, or whatever that book is officially called. I've worked on so many shows based off the book that I've now forgot what the book is called. But yeah, it's set before that, and it's about how the Queen of Hearts became the Queen of Hearts. So yeah, 2 interesting, relatively, I feel like I've heard of both these books, this one more than this one, but relatively well-known books, but 2 ones that I probably wouldn't have picked up off my own accord. And then 2 books in here are Alex's, which are really boring. And then these are the books I picked up while I was in Waterstones. One I picked up in the other Waterstones and then put back down again, but then I picked up again when I was in Ealing. So they were on buy one get one half price, which is part of the reason why I bought them. But one is Powerless, which is a book that is very famous on TikTok. I haven't read this obviously, but I've heard so many people absolutely rave about it, and the second book just came out, so all this text is small. But yeah, this is Powerless. And then I bought Ali Hazelwood's Not in Love, which is her latest book. It's supposed to be a bit more spicy than her kind of like more rom-com-y books that she's released. I actually don't mind a bit of spice. I quite like a bit of spice, as long as it doesn't like completely get in the way of any form of plot. At that point it just becomes smut, but yeah, I actually don't mind a bit of spice. So yeah, I thought I'd pick up these 2 books because I wanted to read them. And now that means I've got these 4 books. I'm not supposed to be buying them, right? But I have so many series in the cupboard. Actually, it's quite nice to have books that sit outside of those that I can read. So it was honestly so nice. I forgot how lovely Walpole Park is. Like, if you live anywhere near West London, kind of Ealing area, if you haven't been to Walpole Park, which is the main park just outside like Ealing centre, it is so nice. There's currently a carnival or something going on in that park, so half of it's shut off, but it's still beautiful. And Alex and I were saying it's really weird, right? So I've now lived in 4 places in London. One place, which is Croydon, I only lived there during lockdown, so I don't really count it. So I've mainly lived in 3 places in London. And it's quite funny how different I was in all 3 of those places. So when I moved to Notting Hill, I had no disposable income. And I don't mean like none, I mean like none. So I didn't have cafes or restaurants I frequented. Like I didn't really know the area. I knew where the supermarket was and I knew where work was, and that was kind of the extent of my time. I barely even left the house out of fear that it would cost something. And then in Ealing, I didn't really have like restaurants or cafes I went to a lot. There was an Italian I used to go to that closed down, or I used to always go for really long walks. And so there are so many like parks and areas around there that I just absolutely adore, and I used to spend hours. I used to go to the supermarket, pick up like a meal deal, and then go sit out in the park for like hours and read books or listen to music or like literally do anything, and it was actually just quite nice going back. And then around here I now do have like a favourite cafe, favourite restaurant, a favourite takeaway. I have all those things, so I feel like coming back here in like 3-4 years would be very different to going back to some of those other places. So it's just, I think it's just interesting to see me in my different stages of my life. But I mean, I think like we've bought a 3-bed house. I think a 3-bed house in Ealing would like absolutely bankrupt me, so not gonna happen. But I absolutely loved living there, and it was quite funny getting back to look at my old flat. So I used to live in like a garage conversion of someone's like house, and it was just really weird like looking at it and like not living there anymore. We're now home. This was a very long clip, but I'm probably gonna read a bit more of the book that I'm currently reading, which is An Anatomy of a Scandal. This has some real trigger warnings. Like, if you haven't read this book, there are 2 fairly graphic rape scenes. So, I mean, even I'm kind of quite struggling to read it, but if any of that would like tip you over the edge, avoid this book at all costs. But it is a very interesting depiction of politicians, and like, basically, they don't say it. Well, no, they do say it. It's based around a conservative politician who gets accused of rape, and it's like flashbacks to his university life, flash forward to his like adult life, and it's quite a difficult read. I'm actually really enjoying it. It's a good book, well written, gripping, want to get to the end, want to see how it's all gonna unravel, but it is a really hard read. So yeah, I'm currently on page 284. I think there's quite a lot of prologues and stuff at the end. Yeah, it's only 400 pages, so I'm about 120 pages from the end. I probably will just keep reading this for the rest of the afternoon/evening. I feel like this has basically been a weekend of walks and reading, which kind of sums up my 2 hobbies apart from music. But I can't really do music in this flat because there's nowhere to like leave stuff out. So yeah, I'm gonna keep reading this book, and I will check in with you guys later. Finished. Pick a number between 1 and 3. 2. Look at what I'm doing with my monthly TBR. These are the 2 books I haven't read, on top of this one, which is the one I'm going to read next. And these are the 5 books that I have read. So the next book I'm going to read is Karen McManus, One of Us Is Next, which is the second book after One of Us Is Lying, which is one of my favourite books of the year. So very excited to read this. It's like YA, thriller, detective-y type book. Where is my bookmark? Over there. I'm going to take a little bit of a break from reading because I've obviously just like pretty much read quite an intense book. So I don't think I'm quite emotionally ready to like go into this book next, but I'm going to leave that there and move on to it later. But yeah, I finished this book, which kind of has a satisfying ending, kind of not, depending on how you read it. Just 2 more to go after the one I'm currently reading. So the second book after A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and then this book that I picked up from my charity shop, which I kind of have been avoiding. It's on this monthly TBR, so I will get around to it at some point this month, but I've sorted out the books at the top of the wardrobe, so these are now all the books that I need to read. Let me get up on the bed. Ugh. These are now all the books I need to read over the next, 3 months. That's insane. So I've tried to order it in terms of something that makes sense. So the series are all together in terms of the earliest book this side and the latest book the other side. So you've got the last 6 books of the Shatter Me series, a couple of Ali Hazelwood books which are kind of standalones, then the next 3 books in the, what's that series called? I can't remember, but the Piers Brown series, the 2 next Lucy Score books, which are standalone Knock 'em Out series books. Then I've got the, I forgot what that Holly Black series is called, but I've got the second, third, and novella for that. The next book in Richard Osman series, a couple of standalones, then the last books in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and One of Us Is Lying, the 5th book, or I guess it's the 4th book, depending whether you count the novella or not, in Akatar, and then another standalone. So quite a few books in here. You can now kind of see why I've been doing a monthly TBR, because this book selection is a teeny bit overwhelming. So yeah, these are now, I think this is the most out of hand my to read list has ever got. Let me count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 books. I think the most I've ever got to is 15. So it's gonna be a busy couple of months. It's fine. I can move with a few, obviously, but I don't really want to move with this many because that's slightly insane. So I've now moved the suitcase that was up here and stuck it under the bed so that they can take up the whole space. So, and then the suitcase, I don't know why I haven't done this earlier, but now the suitcase is under there, tucked under the bed, because I use that very infrequently, so I can just tuck it under there. I'm gonna go back to watching some Love Island, and I think I might respond to some Instagram comments and generally catch up there.
Do you ever reach the point in the day where you just need to take your makeup off, even though it's actually quite a while until bedtime? It is 7 o'clock and I think it's hay fever, I'm not really sure, my eyes are starting to hurt. So I'm actually gonna like basically get ready for bed. I mean, I'm gonna stay in my like clothes, but in terms of like skincare, I'm currently taking my jewellery off and just basically for bed. So my skincare routine hasn't massively changed, so I'm not really going to go through it. The only new additions are, this is my second cleanse rather than the Bioma one that I was using. This is more of a gritty type face wash, so it's a bit more like a face scrub, but like only just. I don't know what is in there that makes it like scrubby. But yeah, this is my second cleanser at the moment, but I don't use this like every single day. And then the serum that I'm using, because I finished my other serum, is the Earth Harbour Marina Brightening Ampoule, but I actually only use this in the morning, so it won't be an evening edition. Because this is, one, it has AHA in it, and two, it's exfoliating, I don't actually use this every day. Also, it says on the back not to use it every day. So I use the face wash that's actually in the shower the kind of other 3-4 days, so I kind of alternate one that day and one with this. And this is the Youth to the People Kale and Green Tea Spinach Vitamin Superfood Cleanser, which I think is my favourite face wash, as in like not makeup remover but just like face wash. So I alternate and use sometimes this in the morning, but I keep it in the shower, hence why there's loads of hairbands on it. So I'm gonna watch a bit of YouTube, wash my makeup off, and then it'll be about time for dinner, which is dreamy. I feel like this vlog is gonna be so long. It is 9:45. I'm watching the football on my computer. I'm gonna put a face mask on because how else is one supposed to do this? This is the Chigot Angels in the Sky Green Tea Real Ampoule Mask. Got this in a PR parcel of like loads of face masks from mainly Japanese skincare brands, but that was impossible to open with anything other than scissors. So yeah, I think I might put this on, have a little bit of face. Oh my god, it's dripping all over. Have a little bit of face hydration. Thought that was a goal there for a minute. And then we shall see where the evening takes us. These things are always so creepy. There's only 5 minutes left until we hit full time. And I assume there'll be extra time because I love how I watched the Women's Euros and the Women's World Cup in a pub. And then the men's I'm watching with a face mask in the bedroom on my own. This is how I'm going to spend my evening. And I will check in with you guys in like 10 minutes. When hopefully there's a result of some sort. Football is not in fact coming home. We lost. I mean, shock. Absolute shock. You've only got to look at the way Spain plays versus the way England plays, and it was like... Anyway, it is now later. I've taken off the face mask and it is now 10 o'clock. So it is basically time to go to bed. We tend to go to bed at 10, wake up about 6:30-ish. That's kind of our like go-to cycle. So I'm gonna tuck up. I'm probably gonna read a little bit of my book before I go to bed. I'm currently reading One of Us Is Next by Kara McManus. I'm on page 45. I'm quite enjoying this, like it's almost like a truth or dare thing that's coming over text messages. I don't know how it's going to end or if someone's going to die. I assume so because I think the beginning is about a death and then it like jumps back in time. But yeah, I'm very interested. I love this author's writing. It's so easy because it's YA, but then it's kind of like gripping. I kind of really like it. So yeah, I'm probably going to just get into bed, read my book, chill, wake up tomorrow and do another work week. So I hope you guys enjoyed spending the weekend with me. It was a very non-productive weekend. It was very much a weekend full of things just to bring me joy rather than like things that I need to get done. I have done a little bit of things in the middle of everything else. Like I have done the washing, we have cooked delicious food. You know, we have actually done some productiveness, but it was just mainly a lot of reading and a lot of walking. And here we are at the end of Sunday. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, leave a comment, you know the jazz, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!